called, well, I don't think we're calling to order yet. Technically, we're going to have the swearing in of the council members that were duly elected in the November election. And Amanda, I think you have all the paperwork from the county regarding the certifications of elections and so on.
Yep, that's correct.
And we have some of our jurists here to swear us in. I think what we'd like to do is when Judge Wendy Roberts, I think you're going to be swearing in Larry Muchler, so we'll proceed with you first, if you don't mind. I don't know where the director wants you because we're on camera.
I'm trying to pick everyone up.
It's Amanda Spielberg. Okay.
So right there. I will.
Okay, I think we'll continue in that order. We'll go with our next newest member, Vanita. We have the Honorable Dominic F. Pileggi to swear her in. Colleen, why don't you go next, please? Tony, yeah, I do think she wants you to hold the Bible.
I solemnly Concord Township, Delaware.
Dana?
I, Dana Rankin, solemnly swear that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States, that I will discharge the duties of Concord Township of Delaware County, Pennsylvania, fidelity. Thank you very much.
John. Mr. Gillespie? Big dude.
Solemnly swear. Support of the Constitution.
So therefore, the agenda is quite long, and we will try to get through it in as timely a fashion as possible. Concord Township does record the meetings. We ask if anyone else is recording, if they would state so now. It's not that there is a prohibition on recording. We just like to make sure they are set up in such a fashion as not to disrupt the conduct of the meeting. Seeing none, we will move right along. First item on the agenda is the election of the president and vice president of council. We have a motion to do so.
I'd like to make a motion to elect Dominic Pileggi as president and John Gillespie as vice president.
And John Cross.
John Cross as vice president.
Okay, do we have a second? Any questions or discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Next is the appointment of the township officials and professionals. Mr. Gillespie, I think you will handle that one.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Actually, there's 18 appointments here, so I'll try to get through them briefly. Township Manager and Secretary, Amanda Surak. Open Records Officer, Lisa Waldron. Tax Collector, Lou Girolami. Vacancy Board Chair, Marge Frank. Emergency Management Coordinator, Fred Field. Fire Marshal and Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator, Robert Vasek. Township Solicitor and Alternate Open Records Officer, Donahue and Labrum, LLP, U.A. Donahue. Sewer Department Solicitor Gerald Montella, Zoning Hearing Board Solicitor Raymond J. Falzone Jr., Alternate Zoning Hearing Board Solicitor Sean O'Neill, Planning Commission Solicitor Michael Wraith, Township and Traffic Engineer Pannoni Associates Incorporated Nate Klein, Township Sewer Engineer Bradford Engineering Walt Fazler, Township Land Planner Landscaping and Lighting Services Thomas Comita Associates Thomas Comita, Certified Public Accountants for Financial Auditing Leitzel and Economideus, Animal Control Officer Brandywine Valley SPCA and Alan Strickler, Third-Party Inspection and Plan Review for Accessibility Pannoni Associates Inc., Third-Party Electrical Inspector Code Inspections Inc., and United Inspection Agency. That's in the form of a motion.
Do we have a second? Any questions or discussion?
I'd just like to note that many of these are reappointments, and these folks have served with great success the last few years. I fully support all of these appointments due to the good service that all of these professionals provide to the township.
Very well said. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mr. Crossan, I think you're going to handle Roman numeral number 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I'd like to motion that we make the following appointments for one-year term to the Building Code Board of Appeals: Daniel R. Accioni Jr., Joseph Barbado, Joseph C. Cliff, Frank A. Lamanna, Raymond J. Sharp, and Michael Wraith, Solicitor.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Mr. Crossan, I think you're taking the next one, too.
Yes, I'd like to move that we establish bonds in the amount of $1 million for the Township Treasurer and $810,260 for the Tax Collector.
We have a second.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Number 6, Vanita.
I would like to designate the fire EMS services to the Concord Township residents and make a motion.
Okay. And it'll be Concordville Fire Protection Association for fire and EMS services, right? Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have a second? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Dana, I think you have the next one there. Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Designation of the official delegate to the PSATS convention. Dana, I think you had that one also, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Questions or discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, under Township Council approvals, we have 2 sets of minutes. One is the minutes from the November 3rd, 2021 meeting. I went through those minutes once again, and if my colleagues recall, a member of the public suggested that his comments were not quoted verbatim in the minutes. And it's been the policy of the township. In fact, there was an interesting article in the Association magazine about what is required to be in the minutes. And the minutes are just supposed to be a synopsis of the business that occurred that evening. I personally do not think that we need to amend the minutes to have a verbatim record of what was said at the meeting. We do have the meetings are live streamed, and they are available for video review later. So I would recommend the motion that we just approve the November 3rd meetings the way they were originally submitted.
I'd also
Anyone?
just like to recuse myself from the minutes.
Okay. Anybody have any suggestions about what do we want to do with the November 3rd meeting minutes? Do we want to approve them as written, or do we want to amend them? John?
I'm fine with approving the minutes as written.
Okay.
Given what you noted, Mr. President, that we could get into a never-ending discrepancy about how much detail to go into in these minutes, and the full record is available via recording
Okay.
for anyone that wishes to see more verbatim.
Okay.
And Mr. President, it's also my opinion that we should be approving minutes as offered at our December meeting with no edits that were proposed by one of the residents.
Okay, so why don't we do them one motion at a time? We have a motion for the November 3rd. We have a second on that.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We have a motion for the approval of the December 7th meeting.
Yes.
Okay, Benita makes the motion, a second.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And let the record reflect, I think Mr. Mutchler recused himself from both of them because he was not seated on council at that time. Correct, Larry?
Correct.
Okay,
And just so the record's perfectly clear, it's for the minutes as written, correct?
yes, yes.
Thank you.
Also, total expenditures for the month of $611,425.25. December payroll of $194,306.07. Current bills totaling $198,881.54, and sewer bills totaling $218,237.64. Do we have a motion to approve those expenditures?
So approved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. And I think Mr. Mutchler
Aye.
also
Aye.
Aye.
had said that he was going to recuse himself from those payment of those bills also. Monthly activity reports, public safety. I do not see the state troopers here. Mr. Gillespie, do you have a sewer department report?
Well, I do, but I thought you were going to do them. Yes. Yeah, monthly activity report for December. Both the main plant and Riviera plant continue to meet discharge requirements within the parameters of the NPDES permits. The operations staff performed 9 lateral inspections for resale certification during the month of November, and the annual sludge hauling contract was awarded for 3 years to McGovern Environmental.
Okay, thank you. Building and code enforcement, there were 58 new permits issued for the month of December as opposed to 49 for the same time last year. We have also development status, Maris Grove Road Court continued renovations to the existing building. The Cherry and Medical Building on Baltimore Pike across from Joseph Anthony is completed but vacant. And Astoria, which is coming out very nicely, that's the building on 202, the last building southbound, I guess, before you get to the state line. Mr. Crossan worked very hard on getting those architectural elevations through the system, and I think it's a building we can all be proud of. And that is continuing along. I don't know when their grand opening is scheduled. I heard they were doing 2-for-1 knee replacements. Anyway, that might not be true. I'm not sure.
Across the street, Two Stones Tap House has their conditional use occupancy, right? So they're ready to go, but hopefully they'll be opening soon.
Yeah,
as well.
I keep getting asked. Does anybody know
I
what's
believe
going on with
this
that?
month.
Could be. I figured you would know. Okay. Okay, sounds good. Planning Commission, I got it right here. I just had it. Planning Commission meeting was canceled for December 20th. Stephen I subdivision was given an extension, and the agenda meeting will be held on January 10th with the public meeting January 18th. Solicitor, Mr. Donahue.
Yes. First matter is 155 Governor Markham Drive. That originally had appeared, that subject had appeared on a draft, as a draft agenda item this evening. By way of background, the Court of Common Pleas of Delaware County issued an order dated January 18th of 2008, which stated the following: upon consideration of the appellant's appeal, the appellant in that case being Stephen I, from the decision of the Zoning Hearing Board of Concord Township, it is hereby ordered and decreed that appellant's appeal is granted, and the Zoning Hearing Board of Concord Township is hereby ordered to grant the land use variance requested. Went on to say that minor deviations from the minimum lot size or de minimis and the public interest concerns that the ordinance seeks to protect are not violated, and then it cites a number of cases. Counsel for there is counsel for an objecting party. The objecting party and counsel's position is that the land development approval, there's been a question of procedure, and that over the passage of time, they believe, and it's their position, that the subject variance has expired. It was extinguished. Counsel for the applicant, the Stephanides, takes a contrary position and believes that the variance has been granted pursuant to the court order. Accordingly, this council will not act this evening on any of the matters relating to this land development project, to allow the zoning hearing board to consider the question raised by council in light of the court order. And it is my understanding that the zoning hearing board of Concord Township intends to take that up at their January meeting. Next subject is 711, the lighting plan. Please be advised that as of 12/23/21, the revised lighting plan, and there were a number of plans that were transferred or shared by the engineer for the township and the engineer for 711, that has received final approval. That plan has received final approval by the township engineer, subject to his comments. His comments are as follows: that a site visit to confirm the existing lights mounting heights was not completed, as J.P. Kelly has signed/sealed this plan as a professional engineer, and we will accept it as such. If there are any discrepancies in the field, the plan will hold, and where the township will have to revisit the issue. Secondly, at the time of permit submission, please provide updated specifications clarifying design parameters for each type of fixture, including full cutoff luminaries. Also specify the type of device or devices proposed to turn lighting off and on, proposed hours of operation, which fixtures are to be extinguished at what hour, and what fixtures, if any, are proposed to remain all night. If dimming or motion control are proposed, please clarify the same. Third, any substitutions shall be submitted to the township for approval prior to installation. And finally, that the township will conduct a post-installation site inspection to verify compliance and determine if further remedial action is required. The parties agree, the parties being the township and the owners of 711, that the plan shall be implemented as of 2/23/22, that's 60 days from the date of the approval of the plan, as indicated by Justice Roberts. And finally, Justice Roberts has been so notified of this agreement, and she will be notified when the inspection is done in February to determine if the 711, in fact, has conformed to the plan. And last, if I may, Mr. President, do you want me to address a public comment now?
Let's come back to that. Let's just stay right on what we're doing
Fair enough.
right now. Okay. Any questions of the solicitor?
Mr. Donahue, that will conclude the outstanding matters regarding 711 Concord Road. Is that correct?
That is correct. Assuming the 711 lives up to the details of the plan, that will conclude that matter, and the floodplain issue has also been concluded. So at this point in time, hopefully, the township's prosecution against 711 has ended.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. Township engineer Nate is out. I don't think he left a report, Amanda, or no?
No.
Okay. Township manager, Amanda.
Yep. First, just Happy New Year, everyone, and I hope everyone has a healthy and safe New Year, and we're looking forward to a great year here at the Township. We have a ton of things we're going to accomplish this year. It's really, really exciting. We have an awesome team, and I can't wait to get jumping ahead of our schedule. With that in mind, we did have one bummer in the beginning of the year. We did not get the DCNR funding in this current grant round for Octorara construction of Phase 1B. However, we will continue beating that horse and applying for grants. And additionally, we plan to look at some more grants to apply for potentially in the next round of funding that DCNR has to offer. So you can't win them all, but we do pretty well. So I just want to make sure everyone understood that. Additionally, the township engineer did ask me to give an update on Schoolhouse Lane and Baltimore Pike, and they are finalizing now the final submission to PennDOT per council's direction, and that submission will include signalization, interim left turn restriction, and a stop request at Cheney and Schoolhouse Lane. So I did want to provide that update tonight, and that is all I have.
Okay, thank you.
A question for the manager.
Go ahead.
In future meetings, can we make that a line item in our agenda?
Absolutely. Under old business,
Baltimore Pike and
we normally
Schoolhouse
do.
Lane.
So I'll make sure it's on there, John. Great suggestion.
Great. Okay, public comment. Did you have one that came in via email before we go to the, see if anyone in the audience has any comments?
Thank you. The township manager has provided me a copy of the following. Mr. Cleary has requested, and this is Mr. Cleary, 72 Schoolhouse Lane in Concord Township. He suggests that he's concerned there's a conflict of interest with the ongoing contracting of Donahue and Labrum LLP as solicitor for Concord Township. The political committee, Concord Republican Party, was active in funding the Concord Township Council members' political campaign. In the attached excerpts from the Concord Republican Party's Cycle 5 pre-election 2021 filing, you can see that campaign funds were specifically spent by Dominic Pileggi, and that Donahue and Labrum LLP made a $775 campaign contribution to the committee on July 20th, 2021. Please note that the $775 contribution appears to have been wrongly placed in the Political Action Committee section of the filing. Donahue and Labrum is not registered as a PAC. Goes on to indicate that the perception is that this is a conflict of interest and it would be a violation of the newly established ethics policy to contract a political donor. And finally, has the position of Concord Township Solicitor been made available to any interested party via an open and competitive bidding process? There is no conflict of interest in retaining Donahue and Labrum as solicitor because of political contributions made by Donahue and Labrum to the Concord Republican Party. There is no state law which prohibits or prevents a lawyer from making a political contribution to a political party, whether that party be the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, or an independent party. B, there is no violation of the administrative code, which defines conflict of interest as follows. A conflict of interest exists when a person uses the authority of their public office or employment or confidential information received through their public office or employment for their private pecuniary benefit. That has no bearing in the matter at hand. And then if we look at other possible sections which define conflict of interest, etc., there has been no acceptance or promise made by any council member or any official for any appointment of township solicitor. Finally, as set forth both in the administrative code and in the Home Rule Charter, competitive bidding is not required for professional service contracts. That not only pertains to Concord Township, but that pertains to every second-class municipality that follows the Municipality Planning Code in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Thank you.
Chris Tomley, 5 Ruby Road. Just want to say Happy New Year. And for those 6 that were elected, hopefully your hands have healed from all the door knocking you did. Happy to see less flyers in my mailbox. I voted for all of you. Congratulations, and thanks for all your hard work. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
How are you, Paris? Haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a little while. Yes, it was last year. I think I was here within the last year. I came specifically to hear you folks take the oath of office. I took note of the wording encourage you and urge you to take note of it throughout this year with every item that comes across your desk. Thank you.
Thank you.
Downey, 61 Concord Mills. I have two quick questions. At 7-Eleven?
I'm sorry, it's an address of a property on Concord Road where there's
711 Concord Road, yeah. I can see where, okay.
Yeah.
It's Ogoneo Restaurant.
Good pickup.
7-Eleven is not coming in.
No, no, you won't, you have to go somewhere
Only
else for your big
Wawas.
gulp.
And then my second question, is there any update to the townhouses, Pulte Spring Lake townhouse development?
That is still in litigation, but I think with COVID, we got delayed. I'll let you take it from there. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's been a back and forth between the applicant's engineer and the township engineer reviewing the plan. My understanding is that the township engineer, sometime in mid to late December, sent back another set of his observations, and I think we're waiting at this point for what I would expect to be the final version of the plan submitted by the applicant sometime in January or February. Yes, and then at that point, after that point in time, that will be discussed with this council, and then we will proceed. Understand that this is also taking place pursuant to a settlement, some terms of a settlement. So that's what we're discussing, and that's why there's a trade-off in going back and forth between the applicant and the township.
Gotcha.
Okay.
As long as there's a meeting that
There'll be a meeting, and
okay.
I've met with the neighbors previously, and I know, and we'll meet with you again when we get the final setup. Okay.
I think we met at the end of the cul-de-sac in the drive. Yep. Yeah, so hopefully it won't be as cold when we meet, but anyway. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Dan?
Dan Foltz, 82 Carter Way. I just want to just thank the council for your response to some of the incidents that were reported over the past couple months with the Pennsylvania State Police and their involvement with some of the incidents. It was very well received. They've been on the job. They've been responsive. There was good community synergy among the state police, and we're very encouraged, especially over the holiday season, that we didn't hear any more, should I say, calamity. And it seems like everyone really does take a care in this community, watching each other's neighbors. I want to also congratulate all of the members, the new members of the council. We have a fine group of people serving on this council. We've had a fine group of people who have continued to serve on this council. We're a great community, and we're going to get better with everyone's help in this community. I think that it takes a village at times to work together, and 2022 is a new year, and this is the perfect leadership, the perfect group to do that. And I know you're going to embrace this community with every amount of excitement, and I'm with you on that. And thanks, and have a great new year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Moving right, yes, sir.
My big concern is
I need your name and address, please.
Ronald Shook, and it's 177 Governor Markham Drive.
Okay.
And being a resident of 44 years, you now want to propose of sewers coming
Yes.
to Governor Markham. Where do we stand on that?
John, you want to handle that? I think that the source for Governor Markham is a budgeted item for 2023.
I believe it's in our capital plan, not so much for 2022. We'll be looking into it for future years, a few years after that, maybe 2023, 24.
All right. How do they want to do the expenses on that?
What we've done elsewhere, we just finished Penn's grant. We're doing the Concord Road North project. We also did Smithbridge Estates. What will happen is we will get the cost of the total project, and then we will divide that by the number of users. It will be a low-pressure system, correct, John? A pump system?
Correct.
And historically, they have been coming in anywhere between $9,000 and $11,000 per house.
So will we be, as a resident, will we be forced to hook up?
The way we have done it, and it has worked well so far, is that if your system has failed and you have availability for public sewers, naturally, we will not give you a permit, nor would the state give you a permit for a new septic system. If you sell your home, we are asking, in order to get a certificate of occupancy, the house is connected to public sewers. And it has worked out quite well over the years. There is another component to tying into sewers, and that's what's called a capacity fee, or an equivalent dwelling unit, and that's the to buy the capacity in the plant, and that's probably a little, almost getting close to $5,000. But what council decided many years ago for these existing subdivisions, such as yourselves and Penn's Grant, we are waiving that fee. After all, it's a Concord Township sewer plant. It's your sewer plant. You've lived here. You don't have to pay that. And that's how we've worked it out. Also, one more thing. A lot of times, if it does get sold, we have, in fact, I think there's one in here now where they did go to settlement, but the monies were escrowed to settlement to connect, so it didn't delay the settlement. And lastly, there is a cost to the homeowner for whatever the pump is to get to our connection.
One last question. If the federal government grants the Build Better America, they said there was like $55 billion set aside for water and sewer upgrades for the United States.
Right.
We be able to get a grant for that for our the roads?
I think we're going to have another meeting regarding what to do with those stimulus dollars. We had one, I guess, third quarter of last year, and we're trying to get one in this year. That was proposed. We haven't made a decision on that. Personally, as one of the 7, since we have this method of getting the sewers installed in place that has worked quite well to date, I don't know if that would be fair to all those that already had to tie into the sewers and have paid their money, and some don't even live in the area anymore. But it will be something that, when we have that meeting, if you'd like to suggest it then, I'm looking at my colleagues, we would consider it, and we would talk about it and vet that issue.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
congratulations.
Sir, before you leave, these projects are somewhat complicated because of the financing, how much the residents have to pay, how much it would be for each homeowner. We have many meetings with the affected neighborhoods, so all of your neighbors will be invited to a meeting, probably in this room, and present what our sewer engineer would come up with as far as the projected cost for each home. And then usually we ask for a show of hands, people that are interested in sewers. And at the very beginning, not too many people are, but by the time we have the second or third meeting, many, many more people chime in that they realize that their on-site system is only temporary and they really need a public sewer. So it takes a little bit of time, but we like to do our homework and make sure all the residents are fully informed before we pull the trigger on any projects like this. Could I ask you a question?
Of course.
Are you in favor of public sewers?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay.
That's a typical answer when we ask people before we put them in. So
My wife and I retired and we're on fixed income.
Yeah.
And the amount of money is just be astronomical.
Yeah.
The other thing is our sewer system has been there for 44 years. Maybe some of you gentlemen remember Mr. Morris, the contractor put in our sewer system or our septic system. He put in one heck of a system. We was young.
Yeah.
One child was 4 years old and my other son was just born. He says, you're going to be expanding, so I'm going to give you a good field. He says, you're not going to have any trouble. Years later.
Well, I think before Mr. Crossan makes his comment, we must have done about 8 or 9 neighborhoods now, and we're going to have that meeting with the group. And I've always found it interesting that we have very vocal people that don't want it at all, and then we have a smaller group that wants it. And we have a lot of people just sit on their hands. But normally when we give the green light to connect, we should get 25 or 30% of them connecting in the first year. So everybody's system is fine until they have the public sewer. I'm just saying, it's just interesting. It's human nature. It's nothing wrong.
No.
But it's just sitting up here all these years, that's been pretty much the model for how it works.
Not like I said, we've been here for 44 years.
Yeah.
We've seen the changes here.
Yeah.
Good, bad, indifferent.
Well, the good news is that your system, like you said, is working well, and so God willing, it continues to work well. And like Mr. Pileggi noted, when the sewer system is in the ground and operating, you would only need to connect if your system failed, which, hopefully it doesn't. And then within 30 days of the sale of the property. But I think it's important to note too that in terms of the township just cares that the sewer is connected within 30 days of settlement, not who pays for it. And so you could, as a seller, you could elect to connect and pay for it in advance of settlement and perhaps build that into the cost of your home as you sell it, or you could negotiate that with a buyer to split the costs, or a buyer could choose to connect it, and you just note that as part of the sale that it needs to be connected. So so that you don't necessarily have to bear those costs all your own.
They would years, I don't think.
Yeah, well,
All right.
I live on Patricia Lane, and one of the original neighbors there is getting ready to sell. And to John's point, and he's in the business, and he can speak to this more than me, a lot of the real estate agents in the deal in Concord, they usually ask the homeowner, do you have sewers available? Because I think they know the drill by now that Concord has this, that if it's in the street, we got to build that into the cost somehow. So it's worked out pretty well. Good question, though.
Thank you.
Just one additional thing. The ARPA funds are funds that the township has, but American Building Funds, I'm not sure we've gotten a lot of information on how
You're correct. We have not.
passed down
We have not.
township municipalities. So we'll be watching for that, and if there are opportunities, that bill as well.
Very good, thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, sir.
Hi, David Downey, 61 Concord Creek Road, Glen Mills. Congratulations to all of you newly elected. I did have a question because I'm not a big fan of the, being forced to switch to the public sewer. But if I had a choice, I would much rather have public water. And I've been wondering, because it came into part of our neighborhood and it stopped short of, although it went down near us, it never came up into, Concord. So I just want to know, is there plans to offer that? Because that is a much bigger interest.
Yeah, that is a separate utility. I'm assuming you have Chester Water Services that area, or you Suez?
But we're on a well right now.
No, but
I'm not.
What street were you guys?
Pleasant Hill and.
Yeah, so you would be north side of Smithbridge?
Yes.
Yes, that would be Chester Water. I think Suez has everything. So
Yeah.
we could check with Chester Water. That's a separate authority, so we normally don't get too involved with that.
Right.
A lot of the water main extensions in the neighborhoods, and it hasn't been done as much recently, but I came from the Planning Commission, as did Mr. Gillespie, Ms. Maroon. But back in the day, if they were trying to develop another subdivision and they had to go through a development to get to it, that's how we were getting it done. It was developer driven. But we'll be happy to look into that and see what we can find out. Because we do have some of them are where only half the community's done, because that's just how much pipe they ran. Why, I don't know, but they did it that way.
Sir, if you want, you could always shoot me an email, and I can get right back to you.
And I like the hat.
Oh, thank you.
You know one there. Okay, thank you. All right, moving right along, under new business, resolution number 1 of 2022. John Gillespie, you got that one covered, buddy?
Yes, Mr. President. Yeah, resolution number 1. How about that? Number 1. It's a resolution of the Council of Concord Township appointing a township manager and establishing the manager executive compensation for the fiscal year 2022. So cutting to the chase and going to the last paragraph, we are resolving to pay Amanda Sirach an annual compensation of $129,162 in 2022. That's in the form of a motion for resolution number 1.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next is number 2, which appoints as the official banks TD Bank, S&T Bank, United Savings Bank, Ironworkers Bank, Univest Bank and Trust, Franklin Mint Credit Union, and Pennsylvania Local Government Investment Trust, which is Pliget, that all withdrawals be made by a check signed by 3 of the 7 council members, and that the manager secretary be allowed to sign the payroll checks and electronic transfers. Do you have a motion to approve resolution number 2?
Moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next is the tax collector, which would be the compensation for the tax collector. Base rate of $3 per bill, interim bills, $3 per interim bill, duplicate bills, $10 for every resident, and $25 for expedited non-resident bill request. Sometimes the tax collector gets something and they're going to settlement the next morning and they need an expedited request, so we charge a little more for that. Tax certifications, $20 for a resident and $25 for non-resident, and a research fee. Sometimes we get questions regarding what was paid years ago, and there's a $25 research fee. That is a motion, that would be resolution number 3. Is there a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Number 4 is to appoint Berkheimer Tax Administrator for our local services tax collector for the sum of 2% of the gross amount of the local services tax. Do we have a motion to approve resolution number 4?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Number 5 is allowing Berkheimer to be our amusement tax collector for 2.25% of the gross amount of amusement tax. Do we have a motion to approve resolution number 5?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
As is customary, every year we do resolution, not necessarily number 6, but we do a resolution regarding the township fee schedule. Amanda, I think it's fairly consistent with those of previous years, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, there are absolutely no changes from the previous year. The only change, not absolutely no, there's one change. We decreased a fee as it relates to the zoning hearing board and the request for continuance by an applicant.
I don't think anybody will object to a decrease in the fee, so I think we'll get through pretty good with this one. So Resolution 6 of 2022, establishing the township fee schedule. Do we have a motion to do so?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 7 of 2022 is the sewer rate fee schedule. Amanda, same thing. I do think, though, that the EDU fee went up a little bit.
Yep, the EDU fee has gone up slightly. That is a calculation that is done annually. It's attached as the exhibit, and that is the only fee that has changed in the schedule.
So an EDU fee would be $4,993. That's in, if someone were to come in and build another Wawa.
Yep.
And they would need capacity in the plant. We would determine how many EDUs. It's a function of how many gallons per day they would need. And in order just to allow to put the sewer in the plant, they would have to pay about $5,000 per EDU. That's the same fee we are waiving for the existing subdivisions that we're putting sewers in. We have a motion to approve resolution number 7.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 8 establishes the fees for appointed professionals from the Pannoni, from Bradford Engineering, from the Planning Commission, land planners, and legal services. Do you have a motion to approve resolution number 8?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Number 9 is the IRS mileage reimbursement rate of .585 per mile for 2022. I've been doing this so long, they used to give you by, how many horses you had. No, anyway. So anyway, do I have a motion to do number 9?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 We have a county aid resolution. Amanda, which property is this for?
No, this is actually the amount of money
Highways?
we ask every year from Liquid Fuels for the county. They get an allotment, and they distribute that to all the municipalities in the county.
Okay, sounds good. Resolution number 10, do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Seconded.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Resolution number 11 establishes all the monthly meeting dates. Council normally meets the first Tuesday of the month in the public meeting room. Planning Commission is the third Monday of the month. Zoning Hearing Board, third Wednesday of the month. Park and Rec Board, first Thursday of the month. Historical Commission, second Wednesday of the month. Open Space, first Wednesday of the month. And the Building Board Code of Appeals, the second Thursday of the month. Both the Open Space Board and the Building Board Court of Appeals do not meet unless there is business to be conducted. All the dates specific are listed on the website. Do I have a motion to approve the meeting and holiday schedule, resolution number 11?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Amanda, we were asked to join something called PA Warn. Can you give a little background on this, please? Or John, do you have it, or?
Yeah.
John Gillespie will handle it? That sounds good.
Yeah,
to me.
this is a mutual aid agreement for water and wastewater facilities. Considering supply issues, the Township Sewer Department requested that we join this organization in the event of an emergency and/or a supply issue. There's no requirement once we join to loan something or help another entity. Our sewer solicitor reviewed the agreement and has given us the okay if we wanted to join. So I would make that motion that we would join that group.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Amanda, one question I asked you earlier. Somewhere in that agreement, it mentions, I forget the title of the person, that basically green lights whether we will provide aid or not. Has
Yeah.
that been established?
Yes, that is correct. So you and I are the actual physical signers of the resolution to allow the join. So we will make sure that me as the manager and council will make sure that we have
Okay.
approvals.
So it's not left to the staff level?
Nope,
but
they're going to
whether we're-
request,
Okay.
and then we'll give the okay
Yeah,
or
because I
not.
think there's also something in there that if we do provide the services, we do get reimbursed. So I'm more interested in, not that I would not want to help someone, but I want to make sure we're getting paid, because that was the whole thing for entering into this agreement. Okay,
Absolutely.
got it. Next, we have had an issue over the year with the real estate tax refunds. Last year, some people were overpaying their taxes by $2, $3, 48 cents, and we were tasked with cutting checks for all this surplus funds. Anyone who has their own checkbook or has a business knows there's money to cutting a check. And not only that, if the checks aren't cashed, we have to carry them in our checking account for a number of years. And then at the end, you sometimes see in the paper the unclaimed property from the state. It just cheats back to the state, and it just is a bunch of hassle that nobody needs. It costs us more to send those checks back than anything else. So we're going to ask for a motion to approve the threshold to be $5. So if they're overpaid by $5 or less, we will not refund the money unless it's requested of us to refund the money, simply from an accounting perspective, a workload perspective, and a cost to the township perspective. So I would ask for a motion to establish that threshold.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mr. Gillespie, somebody said we're going to be building some pickleballs. You want to handle a pickleball?
Sure, I would love to talk about that. Every position in life has highs and lows, but it seems like the pickleball courts have been a very high for our township over the last few years. So at this point, I'd like to make a motion to advertise for the construction of 6 more courts, which will make our residents very happy.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Also, Mr. Gillespie, and sir, we were talking about this earlier. You want to talk about the Concord Road North Sewer Project?
Yes, Concord Road North. We've been talking about this for a bit at our sewer committee meetings, and our sewer engineer is ready to go out for bids on this project. Basically, it would provide public sewer on Concord Road from the El Granillo area, Spring Valley Road, Concord Road, going up north towards Baltimore Pike. So that's ready to go. So that's in the form of a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please
I have
signify.
just
Go ahead.
some discussion on this, sorry. So I'm just looking at the map here, and so the 2 white parcels, I believe the township owns them. I think the one is the senior center. Is that correct? So the senior center is not connecting?
No, we will be doing that, John, from getting through our site to them.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they will be connected.
Yeah, we're not going to
just
come in off
not-
the road. We're going to come
I
in
see.
through us.
Okay, very
Okay,
good. Thank
got
you.
it. Yeah. So a motion is second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Item number P, Mr. Crossan, you had brought this to the township's attention, so why don't you handle that one, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to move that we authorize the township engineer to engage PennDOT regarding signal modifications at the traffic signal at Britton Lake Road and Baltimore Pike. There's currently a dedicated right turn lane, but there is no traffic signal indicating the movement for just that right turn lane. So as it stands, cars queue in the right turn only lane, but aren't allowed to turn except when on a full green. And so this will just add a signalization for authorizing that right turn to facilitate the flow of traffic. So,
Okay.
so move that.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Colleen.
Go ahead.
I'm in favor of doing this, but I also that have,
Okay.
and I'd like to expand.
All right. But you're okay with letting this one go, but we should maybe
I did
report back
discuss,
to Nate?
and I did discuss with Nate earlier today some points that Colleen and John brought up, and Nate is going to be looking into those and bringing those forward to us next month.
Okay.
I think
Yeah.
specifically, Naaman's,
Right.
Yeah.
there are dedicated left.
That's correct. I did specifically speak with him about
Yeah,
that
I
as
also
well.
reached out to Nate Klein and told him I had a couple ideas of other intersections as well. So maybe, we planned, we can take care of the first one, but then there may be others that we can do maybe as a group in contacting PennDOT. But I think the need is there as more and more traffic tries to make those left turns. Traffic backs up at many intersections that I travel, so.
One thing, and I know Nate's not here, so it's always good to pick on him, but I know we sometimes go to PennDOT with a bunch of these. Maybe we should have a list of our own, but maybe it is, if you go in there with everything, they're going to say no to everything. But maybe if we just nibble away one, every couple of months, hit them with one, or if we get 3 a year, that's better than we've done in the last 5 years. So, okay. All right. Sounds good. All
I
right,
have a
guys.
question.
We got a motion. We got a second on that one?
I have a quick question.
Yes, Benita.
Now, is the township engineer going to engage in the study project on the signals of different intersections, or is it going to be PennDOT regarding the signal modification? Because I know PennDOT does have some requirements in regards to adding new traffic signals.
PennDOT does the study, Amanda said.
Yeah, I believe Nate will probably speak with PennDOT on your behalf, but normally what we do is we actually request them to do a portion of the study, and then they usually come back and say, well, yes, this can happen, but you're going to pay for it. So I think Nate on this one in particular said it would be around $10,000 to $15,000 to modify the signal head in order to allow the turning movement based on their estimates. But normally that's what we do. We request of PennDOT. PennDOT provides that information, and then they will come back and say, you know, you can do it.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mr. Gillespie, you have a financial security release.
This is for DeMarco, the 18-month sewer line of credit release for $12,992.40. This is at 157 Matson Road subdivision. We have a letter from our sewer engineer suggesting that we handle this at the meeting today. So that's in the form of a motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Questions or discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
On the agenda, there's a spot for the subdivision at 155 Governor Markham. Mr. Donahue earlier this evening explained some issues regarding a zoning relief that was granted years ago. We will not be handling that this evening. I guess we're waiting for the decision from the zoning board, and then this will probably appear back in the batting order in a future meeting, correct?
It may or may not, yes, depending on what they do.
Okay. Last one is accept as complete for filing a review of a sketch plan for Tommy's Express Car Wash, 119-123 Wilmington Pike. That is the site of the old Marstan's Furniture. And a sketch plan basically means they're coming in with a plan. It's just a sketch, just to pick the brains of the planning commissions and the consultants to see what issues might be there. Also, car washes in a commercial district in Concord Township require what is called a conditional use. So there will be a separate hearing before this board running concurrently with the approval of the land development plan. All I can tell you is just stay tuned. There'll be more to follow. This is the first step in a very long trek. So do we have a motion to accept that plan?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Amanda, under other council matters, earlier this evening when we were talking about the minutes, in the State Association magazine this month, There was an article about minutes, but there was also a whole section devoted to public comment and the conduct of a public meeting, and had some very good points about some issues, not this evening. Everything this evening was great, but some issues that other townships have faced similar to ours in the conduct of their meeting regarding public comment, length of, and the type of comment. So I was wondering if my colleagues agree if perhaps you could do a little research on that between what is going on in Delaware County and throughout the state, and see what options are available, and perhaps for a future meeting, we might vet this and debate this, and if everyone concurs, we will come up with a policy for the conduct of the public comment portion of the meeting.
Mr. President, I think the article in the magazine this right on target, things that great opportunity. Things that are done in public.
Yeah, I would like to see our township manager maybe gather some information from the state association and also from other municipalities that are in Delaware County or close by that have such a policy, and create something, then give it to us. We could get the solicitor to then create a document that we could enact, but might take a little bit of time, but I think we need to work on something like this.
Perhaps maybe a suggestion would be if we had a committee of possibly 2 or 3 of us. Colleen, since you spoke first, would you want to do it? Okay. So maybe we can rally with some of your colleagues and try to get something maybe in the first 3 or 4 months that we could at least look at. We're going to have discussions in public regarding what we come up with, but I do think we're getting to the point in the evolution of our township where we're going to have to start using some of these tools that other larger municipalities are using in the conduct of their meeting. That is no inference on anyone that said anything this evening, especially the guys that said we do a great job. You get all the time you want, but we have had some rip roars over the last few years, and I just wanted to get that out there. John, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I just think that I've noticed some townships have sort of a few different periods of public comment, maybe something at the beginning and then something later in the meeting. And then, of course, there's always things that can be discussed as part of an agenda item, which may spur ideas or questions from the public. And when I was not on council, it was not always clear to me when was the right time to be able to speak after you were fully informed, because sometimes the public comment preceded the part where you were fully informed that you were able to ask the question that might have arisen. So I think there's a lot of different opportunity for us to expand.
Yep, I'm happy to reach out to my colleagues.
Okay, and we'll have that Monday? No.
Well, not sure about that.
All right, any other council matters? Meeting schedule for the month is the Historical Commission meets on the 12th. Township offices are closed on the 17th, Martin Luther King holiday. January 18th, the Planning Commission will be meeting on a Tuesday because the 17th is a holiday. January 19th, the Zoning Hearing Board, and January 25th, the Council Agenda meeting. This is the part of the agenda, Larry, that is the most important part, and I figured I'd let you make your first motion for adjournment.
I'd like to ask for adjournment.
Okay, good job. Keep that in mind. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Before we close out, I want to thank my colleagues on the board. People don't realize how much work it is to sit up here. This is usually the easiest part of the job. Larry, when we told you it was an hour a month, it's not. No way. Okay, but anyway, thanks for all coming out. Have a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Happy New Year. Thank you.